about the consistency of Karl Malone throughout his career? So impressive. 25 points, 10 boards a game. And he was at that level for so long.
John Stockton out there with Jeff Hornacek. And there's Malone. There's Brian Russell. And it's Foster in at the 5 spot. That's the group right now for you.
Yes.
You talked about Malone's ability to produce. He could be penciled in for those numbers for a stretch of about 18 years. And Jerry Sloan was his coach and said one of the great players, Clark, that he's ever had in the NBA.
Well, Kevin and Steve, remarkable consistency. And that, too, is a measure of greatness. It's not just the numbers. It's doing it time and time and time again. Every year.
Oh, that was a bad shot.
To lead the way scoring and rebounding for the Jazz. And every year, that expectation was there, and he met it.
Looks like Karl Malone wants to finish this game off on a high note. He's playing well here in the 4th.
Jackson against Hornacek.
Okay, so we're up now. Gotta stay up.
Duncan outside. He passes to Person.
Or not. Or not, you know.
And the Spurs lead by 1.
Yeah, they're finding the open man. Unselfish play. I like it.
Yeah, I love it, too. Teamwork and evidence there, right on full display. A big percentage.
That was a swish. Swish, swash, swishy, a swishy, swish, swish, swap, but don't stop the grooving.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over.
You know, one thing that can be said about both Stockton and Malone, I think they were 2 of the toughest players you'd ever see on the floor. They didn't back up from anybody. They were consistent and they
we gotta keep feeding Malone the ball, or else he's gonna starve to death out there. Slowly become cold and wither away and die. Stockton steal! Aww.
Here are the Spurs. They've never trailed by more than 5.
Come on.
Talking about their toughness, Clark, you know, they would back each other up in a lot of cases. Not afraid to stir the pot at all.
That was just horrible.
You saw that firsthand.
Well, John Stockton was so tough. He was scrappy. And then Karl Malone was always kind of the big brother who would look after him. And together, they were really, really tough.
Stockton against Johnson. Shoots.
Wow. Wow! That was a monster jump.
Looks like it's going to go right down to the wire.
Well, you talk about what happens in close games. Mistakes are magnified. Both teams have to be very careful down the stretch here.
Wish my close was a 90 and I could miss.
Here's the 3. Malone with the rebound. Malone's got 3 rebounds now in this one. 3-pointer from Stockton.
Stockton!
Russell passes to Malone.
Jeez, man.
Malone's got 8 here in the quarter.
I can tell your clutch factor is very low.
Out of bounds. And they retain.
Wow, how did that not hit him?
You know, if you could call it this, the one thing that will always be a blemish on Stockton and Malone's record is they never won it all. It just never came together for them in any single year, in part because the Chicago Bulls were standing there to keep them from getting to that trophy.
That's tipped. Utah leading. Good look.
Hornacek.
Jump shot. Good.
And that's the problem when you don't protect the ball.
Exactly. When you surround the ball like that, you put your defense at a huge disadvantage.
Mark, you mentioned no rings an issue, and Michael Jordan and the Bulls were that hurdle in their way. And Steve, it really was bad timing for him, probably in most cases.
Yeah, John Stockton and Malone, really, you know, they had bad timing. They were such a good tandem and played on some great Jazz teams, but they ran into some teams that were just a little better. I mean, think about, obviously, the Bulls in the finals for 2 years, but also the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, and they had to deal with Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets. So they ran into some real juggernauts. They had great teams, but were never able to get over that hump.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new...
Uh-oh, they're bringing their big line out.
For Purdue. Duncan comes in for Williams. Person's checked in for Elliott. And it's Del Negro in for Johnson. Here's Del Negro. Outside Jackson. The feed to Duncan.
This is their, like, all-star lineup right here.
Outside for Jackson.
Kick ball!
Off his way.
Come on.
Here's Duncan. The pass to Del Negro. And stolen by Stockton.
You know, guys, you look at it, one turnover in the game.
Yeah! Karl Malone.
That's why you push the ball. You score before the defense has a chance to set up.
Exactly. They had the defense on its heels that time.
Here's Del Negro.
Well, you know, Benny Del Negro is pretty much a basketball lifer, guys. From his earliest days growing up in the shadow of the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield to North Carolina State to the NBA, he's been in basketball most of his life.
Yeah, he's been around all right. Played professionally in Italy before coming back and having a successful NBA career, mostly with San Antonio. And, of course, now he's gone on to coach in the NBA.
A telltale sign in this half has been their lack of free throw attempts. They need to start battling and getting to the line.
Yeah, especially being down like they are right now. I mean, they really have to do anything they can to get some points on the board.
And Foster backs in. Stockton against Del Negro. Shot clock at 6. Big shot on the way. Hornets no luck. Trail by 4. Here's Del Negro. Passes it to Person. It's blocked.
I feel like Stockton just did that.
Shoots the 3.
Ooh! Hornacek. He's definitely my man.
This team just looking to run at every opportunity.
Circles around them is what they're doing. I mean, pushing the tempo and really enjoying an advantage there.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over.
I think Coach saw a couple of things he wanted to correct. You got to make sure everyone's following the game plan.
Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. Elliott's checked in for Person, and it's Johnson in for Jackson. Here's Duncan working on Malone. Johnson down low. Pass to Elliott. 3-pointer.
In your grills. In your grills.
Come back here, but you've got to get a better look at the basket to get it done.
That one goes.
I knew I was going to get blocked so hard if I didn't do that fake.
Johnson against Stockton. Robinson, he's guarded by Russell. From down low, Robinson misses. And so here is Utah. Back to Hornacek. There's the 3.
Oh, Hornacek. Hornacek.
He's got his 8th assist here tonight.
You know, at the end of his career, Stockton would be playing in a game, and you just forget he was 40 years old, and he still was very effective at that age.
Ball's knocked loose. Stockton against Johnson. Clock at 4. Picked up by Stockton. They get it back.
Thank you, Tim Duncan.
Duncan with the bucket.
Crazy guy.
Defensively, you have to get a body on somebody every time down the floor.
Looking to get it going.
Oh, I was about to pass.
And he cruises to the hoop for the layup. And the Jazz.
I definitely wanted to pass.
Time called here. The Spurs
But
decide
I guess we'll just do a sweet around your back play.
107 left in the 4th quarter. 107 left in the 4th quarter.
Oh, I probably should be watching.
Just talking about John Stockton's age. His final year was 40 years old. He was still playing and competing at the very same level.
You know, to be honest, Kevin, I mean, he probably could have been a starting point guard maybe until age 45 or thereabouts. I mean, the way he ran the pick and roll was so efficient. His game wasn't predicated on great athleticism. It was quickness and smarts and toughness. I think it'll be a while before we see another player as effective as he was in their 40s. Although Jason Kidd, at 38, an NBA champion, he looks to be able to go another couple of years as well at a high level.
It's rebounded by David Robinson. Kicks it to Malone. 6 to shoot. Duncan is there. Lets it go.
Oh, great.
Here comes Avery Johnson. Here's Elliott.
He missed. He freaking missed.
Stockton with it. Lets it go.
And I get blocked. Oh my god.
It's Utah with the win.
Two of the best power forwards came to do battle, but in the end, it was the Jazz who came through.
To me, it just seemed like they had a more complete.
Got blocked so many times.
It was a good matchup, though.
That'll do it for us. Thanks for looking back at NBA history with us, including a look at the Jazz and Spurs. For Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr, Kevin Harlan saying good night, and thanks for watching 2K Sports.
Who is the... Oh, Malone was. I wonder how many points he got. .22 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. Robinson was tearing me up. Tim Duncan with 4 blocks. Karl Malone, 2 blocks as well. Stockton had a block. That's pretty ridiculous. This Hornacek guy is amazing. Completed. The 97-98 Jazz, 97-98